In the description box below this video is a link where you can download my cheat sheet for week 4 of college football. Below this video, look in the description box, click the link. That will take you to my Google Drive, where you can download my Excel spreadsheet. Go to File, Download, and Microsoft Excel. This will take you to my Excel file with my cheat sheet for week 4 of college football. In the rest of this video, I'm going to go through the Excel spreadsheet with you to help you understand it and use it for week 4 of college football, September 19th, 2025, and Saturday, September 20th, 2025. So I'm going to pull up the Excel spreadsheet now. In the first column of the Excel spreadsheet, I write road and home. This tells you if the team is playing on the road or at home. So in the first game, Tulsa is going to be the road team. Oklahoma State's going to be the home team. And also, these games are grouped based on matchup. So Tulsa and Oklahoma play each other, and Iowa and Rutgers play each other. This list sequence order is based on the way they're organized in VegasInsider.com's college football scores and matchups. I'm going to provide the links to all these websites in the description box below this video. So game 1 is Tulsa and Oklahoma State. And on the Excel spreadsheet, I have Tulsa and Oklahoma State. So from the VegasInsider.com website, so here we go, week 4 of college football. Game 1 is Tulsa, Oklahoma State. You want to find the point spread, you look under now, and then this is the point spread. So Oklahoma State is the bottom team. They're the home team. They're the favorite, -10. Tulsa's the road team. They're the underdog, +10. So this has all the games, 49 games, from the VegasInsider.com website. I only have the games which are FBS versus FBS. I did not include games that had FCS. So column 2 has the names of the teams, Tulsa, Oklahoma State. And the third column, column C, has the point spread from Vegas, or VegasInsider.com. So that's the that point spread in column C is the point spread from VegasInsider.com. Okay, so this is column C. So Tulsa is on the road. They're the underdog, +10.5. Oklahoma State is at home. They're a favorite by -10.5. So next column, so this is key information organized on one spreadsheet. But the one of the key bits of information that I provide on my cheat sheet is this column here in light blue. ESPN SP Plus point spread. What is this? This is actually useful, very useful information. So the idea here is this. If you go to ESPN and then rankings, you will be able to find the Football Power Index and the SP Plus rankings. The Football Power Index is a power rating. So the ultimate goal of this power rating, which is updated week to week by ESPN, is that when you take two teams that play each other, you can use the power ratings to calculate the point spread. So let me give you an example. Oregon has an FPI of 24.2. If they played USC, who has an FPI of 20.6, you subtract these two numbers, the point spread is going to be about 4. And then the home team gets an extra 3 points. So according to ESPN, this is similar to the idea of how Vegas calculates the point spread. Now, ESPN has hired an analyst. His name is Bill Connelly. He has his own version. The numbers have a similar purpose, and Bill Connelly calls it the SP Plus number. Same idea. He updates it week to week, and in the rating number, what you do is you if two teams are playing against each other, for example, Penn State versus USC, 28 minus 19.8, the difference is about 8 points. So on a neutral field, USC and Penn State, the point spread would be Penn State minus 8. If it was, if you want to adjust for home, roughly about 3 points. I use 3 points for the home. You add 3 points to the home team. Now in college football, sometimes the home field advantage is greater than that, but 3 is a typical or standard number. So FPI does have the numbers, but for this particular spreadsheet, I use Bill Connelly's numbers. I've been following him for years. Very intelligent, very methodical, and I like to know the person behind the numbers. So he published his numbers, and I took Bill Connelly's SP Plus numbers, these numbers here, and I put them into the spreadsheet. Okay, so for each one of these teams. Then I calculated a point spread based on these ESPN SP Plus numbers from Bill Connelly to calculate a different point spread. Again, adding 3 points to the home team. And then in column E, I calculated the deviation or the difference between the Vegas point spread and the ESPN SP Plus point spread. In the case of Tulsa and Oklahoma State, the difference is 0 basically. These numbers are the same. That's interesting to know. However, this is not always the case. Let me show you a major deviation here. See if we see here Maryland, Wisconsin. The deviation is 8.6. So Maryland, the point spread for Maryland is 9.5. ESPN's SP Plus point spread is 0.9, basically 0. The deviation is 8.6 points. This is useful information because one of the strategies is to look for situations where the Vegas point spread is off. Okay, they have their own methodology. It might be off. So if Bill Connelly at ESPN's telling me, hey, based on my calculations, the point spread's off by 8.6, I'm like, I'm going to take a closer look at this game. We also see here, Arkansas-Memphis is also having a large deviation. So very useful information here, and that's why this took me several hours to put all this information together, but that's why I focused on this specific number and this final version of it. Now, there's 2 key cheat codes that I'm providing here. One is this number, okay, and if you've been watching my previous videos, I also calculate how much the teams cover the point spread. So I also include in the Excel spreadsheet so far we've had 3 weeks of college football. Some teams have played 4 games, week 0. And in each one of these weeks, I provide the opponent. So Tulsa in week 1 played Navy. The point spread was 8.5, and they covered the points, or they underperformed by 8.5. So if it's a minus in the cover column, the blue cover column, they underperformed. Now here, let's look at this here. North Texas in week 3 played Washington State. The point spread was minus 6.5 for North Texas. They covered the point spread by 42.5 points. That's important information. So let me zoom out to give you a big picture view of the spreadsheet. So we're focusing on week 4. Each of the matchups are listed. So you got the road team and the home team. And so for Tulsa, for example, you have the point spread, the ESPN SP Plus point spread, the deviation. Then for week 3, they played Navy. They underperformed by 8.5. In week 2, they played New Mexico State. They underperformed by minus 10.5. In week 1, they played Abilene Christian. They covered the point spread by 22.5. These calculations took a lot of time, but going forward, I will probably not include FCS information. So what is the purpose of this spreadsheet? Well, it's basically to do the first round of filtering. So in this week, there's 49 games where FBS teams played FBS teams. 49 games. Now, you could go through all 49 games, and then you'd still want to know these numbers, right? The SP plus point spread, as well as the cover information. But I found that typically, out of 50 games per week, maybe only 15 to 10 are worth closer examination. So what you do in these, if you want to use a filtering method is, first, what you do is you search for teams where there's a large deviation in the ESPN plus SP plus point spread versus the Vegas. You also want to look for teams that have covered the point spread by large margins or underperformed by large margins. And so you go matchup by matchup. And so, for example, here, like I said, it was Maryland, Wisconsin. That doesn't mean I'm going to pick Maryland or Wisconsin. It means I'm going to take a closer look at this specific game. So I'm looking at Maryland here. In week 1, they cover the point spread by 19. I'm going to take a look at it. Also, too, here, North Texas. Last week, they covered the point spread against Washington State by 42 points. Well, I'm going to take a closer look at them this week against Army. So that does the next level of filtering. So when you look at this, also when you want to analyze, you want to consider the strength of the opponent. For example, if they play against an FCS team, it's harder to interpret that. If they win by a large margin, that's expected. If they cover the point spread, good for them. If they underperform, if they lose, that's useful information. Now, if it's against, you want to look at the opponent here. So Wisconsin, they played against Alabama. Alabama gives you a reference point, and they underperformed. Wisconsin did by minus 6.5. Another one here. Okay, so Tennessee last week played Georgia, and they basically cover the point spread. So that's useful to know. What that tells me is maybe Tennessee is comparable to Georgia in quality. So you want to consider the strength of schedule, the strength of the opponents, and what you're trying to do is to try to do comparables, to do references. So if Tennessee essentially covered the point spread against Georgia, and the point spread was 3.5, so that means that Tennessee is probably within a field goal of Georgia. That's useful to know going forward. Now, the additional thing that you want to take a look at is you want to look at injuries. So on covers.com, they have injuries. These injuries for college football are not as accurate as, for example, NFL, but they do provide useful information. And you also want to pay attention to the positions. Did that particular player, have they played this season or last season? And you want to also look at the date of the injuries. So you provide all this information to maximize your chances of winning the pick. The whole idea is you want to accumulate as many advantages as possible. So you want to see, okay, this team covers by a large amount. This point spread is off, according to ESPN's SP Plus numbers. The injuries favor my particular team. Also, you want to check the news because, for example, UCLA and Virginia, they already fired their coaches. Coaching changes, that makes also an impact too. So what I'm going to do next myself with this spreadsheet is I'm going to go through the spreadsheet and look for games where the ESPN SP Plus point spread number deviates a large amount from the Vegas point spread. I'm also going to look at the cover history. So my plan is then on my channel is I'm going to do a follow-up video. I'm going to post a follow-up video where I show you my next round of games I'm going to look at. Basically a subset of the 49 games, perhaps like the 10 games that are worth a closer look. And then from that we can generate top picks for week 4 of college football.